Okay, so just a quick update. I don't really have the time that I used to have when Macy was here to sit and write because I guess she needed to rest a lot and she would always ask me to cuddle with her while she wanted to rest. So I had plenty of time to just sit and think and write on Facebook while she was sleeping in my arms. So life is a lot more fast paced now and I don't really have the time to sit and write like that. So I figured that a video would just be easier. But anyways, when I was saying something about Macy's health, I think it was a few days ago, somebody asked if we had done an autopsy. And they started their question was with not to be cruel, but and so first of all, I just want to say, like, I have always been super open about everything on Macy's page. I hope that people know that this is a place where, like, it's safe to ask questions. I'm not going to freak out about any questions unless they're, like, obviously meant to be rude. But we're completely open to questions. We'll answer your questions if we know the answer, and we'll explain ourselves. So, the question, why did we do an autopsy or why not? To try and figure out why Macy had some of the things going on that she did that we could never figure out during her life. So, I don't know if you guys remember, but I think it was like, so it was when we switched her to hospice. I had reached out to a researcher for the Mowat Wilson Syndrome Foundation and asked him, I emailed him asking if there was anything that we could do when Macy passed away as far as research to contribute to research, whether that was donating her body or donating her organs, which, first of all, let me say that is like the most awkward email to write ever, especially when your child is still alive. And I had no idea what to write, but I tried to make it sound like as, I don't know, not psychotic as possible. I don't even know the words for that, but like it was just the weirdest email to write. So anyways, that was when we switched her to hospice, and I think most of you know that when we switched her to hospice, we were told she might have, she had some months, they thought. So, and then they said possibly even 6 months or a year. So we thought we still had some time with her. And then she passed 3 weeks later. She was doing pretty good, and then she got that infection, and that night she died. So it was like we knew it was coming, but it felt somewhat sudden for what we expected. We had seen her sicker before, so the infection just like took her really fast. But anyways, the researcher got back to me about my email and said that he would be giving me a call to discuss it, and that they would like to use some of her organs and get some biopsies from her to contribute to research. So I was like, okay. And I waited for his call. And then Macy passed away on September 19th, like the night of the 18th. And I think it was the day of the 19th. We were getting a ton of calls. We had announced on Facebook that Macy passed, and of course we had contacted all of our family and friends to let them know that Macy passed. And so we were getting a lot of phone calls and a lot of texts and whatnot, saying, I'm so sorry and whatnot, as people learned about her death. So I got this call from a number that I didn't recognize, and I answered it because we had, the funeral home had taken Macy the night before, so I didn't know if it was like one of their cell phones or what, but I just figured I should answer it. So I answered it, and it was the doctor who I had been speaking with through email about Macy donating her organs. And he started off with, "I'm so sorry." And that was what a lot of the phone calls started with that day. It's just, I'm so sorry, as they had heard about her death. So he was just kind of like, I'm so sorry that we even have to have this discussion, but I just really want to get things moving. And I said, yeah, understandable. And we started talking about it, and I said to him, you don't think it's too late? And he was like, no, I think we still have plenty of time. And I'm like, oh, okay. And the further we got into our conversation, the more I was like, okay, I started realizing he doesn't know she died. I started realizing that the I'm so sorry was just that we have to have this discussion about donating her organs and her being on hospice, but that he didn't know about her death. So I was like, wait, do you know that she died? And he was completely caught off guard. And then we got on the same page. But I said, yeah, so that's kind of why I was asking, like, is it too late? And he said, well, how long ago did she die? And I said, like 12 hours ago. And he said, likely the funeral home is already preparing her body, and because of the chemicals and stuff that they use, it would have been too late. So that was kind of a bummer for us. But and talk about an awkward situation, an awkward conversation too. I honestly just felt bad for him. We've had quite a few awkward conversations like that since Macy passed. I shouldn't say quite a few, but a few. Like insurance calling and saying, it's not clear what health insurance plan you wanted for Macy next year. Which one did you want? And I had to just tell her Macy died. We took her off the insurance, and she was like, oh my goodness, I don't know why, I didn't get that from, it just wasn't clear. I'm so sorry. But anyways, long story short, when people come to us with these things, I just want, like, everybody to know it's not a big deal. I understand, like, we're still people, like, we're down to earth. Like, if you didn't know that she died, like, it's not like we're gonna break down in tears, or you're gonna make us, like, I don't know, like, throw us over the edge with that. Like, if you genuinely didn't know, and, like, then whatever. So anyways, I mostly just feel bad for these other people when we have these kinds of conversations, because I'm like, I'm sorry, like, that's gotta be kind of awkward. But I mean, we're fine. But anyways, so long story short, or I guess it wasn't so short, but we were not able to donate Macy's body or organs for research. And there was a part of me that wondered after she passed away if we should do an autopsy. But the other part of me felt like we were really looking for something that wasn't going to be able to be diagnosed on autopsy. We had done so many biopsies, so many studies on her during her life, and especially with, like, the not being able to eat thing. In regards to that, we did so many endoscopies and different things to look at her GI tract, and they took biopsies several times and basically said, we don't see anything, like, we don't know what's causing it. So I don't know, there was a part of me that just felt like with autopsy we might still not get an answer. And I don't know, I think in my grief too, I was like, if we can't do it for research, if we can't have somebody, like, really, really dedicated to figure out what's happening, I don't want them to just, like, I just wanted her to be able to rest, like, if that makes sense. I was like, I just want her to, she's been through so much, and just let that girl rest, like, so we didn't do an autopsy. Basically just because I didn't know that we'd even get any answers from it. So, that is something that, like, I really wish that we could have done, is the research, the donation of her organs, to try and figure out what was going on, what else was going on that we couldn't figure out during her life. But it happened like it happened, and it's just something that, like, we've accepted. But, yeah, it is what it is. Now, with saying that, the researcher did reach out to me again and say that if I wanted her to be involved in research still, if we still wanted to contribute towards research, that it would be helpful to get all of her medical records and any images, any test results, like just everything from her life, and study that. So, I've been working on that, getting all the paperwork filled out, getting the release for everything from her pediatrician, from Nationwide Children's and Boston Children's, which is where she was primarily treated. And then, she did also have some treatment at Cincinnati Children's. So, filled out a release for all of those things. And hopefully, I think in the next month or so, that doctor should have those records. I also requested for us to get her records too, just for myself. Honestly, I think that it's like super interesting to read through her stuff, and something that happened after she passed away with Nationwide. It didn't happen with Boston or Cincinnati, but with Nationwide, there's something called My Chart where you can sign in like on your phone or whatever and see your child's like test results and visit notes and just everything. After Macy passed away, when I tried to sign in for the first time, it was Everly's preschool teacher asked me how tall Macy was, and they were doing a little project at school for the child's height. And they did it for Everly, and then they wanted to do one for Macy, which I thought was, like, absolutely incredible. Like, I am so appreciative of that. But, Callie, it's okay. Come here. But they asked me how tall Macy was, and I knew a roundabout number, like, how tall she was, but I wanted the last measurement, and I wanted it to be accurate. So I tried to sign into My Chart, and it came up with an error message saying that I didn't have access to her My Chart anymore. So I've also been in the process of trying to gain access to that again, because I can't even see things like her weight or her height or different things. If I'm curious about something, like what was this, or what was the result for this, like I can't go back and look at that anymore. So I did request all of her medical records for me to have. I also called about seeing if I could have access to her My Chart still, because I feel like I should have access, like I should be able to have access to it still. I'm still her parent, I don't know why I wouldn't be allowed to access that still. But they told me that they're not sure that I'll be able to have access to that. So we'll see. That's something that we're still in the midst of. But all right, well, I am going to get off of here, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. I'll probably do more videos soon, just to answer some questions, because honestly, it's kind of nice for me to just talk about it still. It's my therapy, but I just don't have the time to write like I did. So bye.